Anon vs. RGRE Part 10. The chick flew at me in a brilliant blue blur. What else was I supposed to do but shriek in response? I cocked my hoof back out of instinct. After all, in this world, beating a mare was like beating a guy, and no matter if I won or lost, I wouldn't have to bear any guilt after the fight anyway. A free get-out-of-jail card if there ever was one. But she was too quick. I was too slow. The blur was on me at once, her body pinning me to the bed, sitting on my chest. Rainbow smiled above me, lording over her sudden victory. "I don't think I've caught you around town, Mr. Virgin." Rainbow lifted a hoof to her mouth, giggling into it. "And I can't believe no other mare in town has caught you either. Virgin, really? And at what age?" "I'd rather not say." I turned my head and looked away. Didn't know it was a big deal in this world. "This world? You another dimension-traveling dude?" "Something like that." Whatever the case," Rainbow went on to say, sitting a bit heavier on my chest at the point it made me look up into her falling lips. I struggled and stirred for a second at the most. That was until the lips met my cheek. "Keep yourself safe." Rainbow pulled back on seeing the blush on my face, and I rolled off my body. She promptly stood on all fours, glancing back at me. "The mares in town will eat you alive, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't enjoy yourself. Anon, was it?" I could only nod. "Trust in my girl, Twilight, will ya?" Rainbow walked out of the door, and without another word, only muttering under her breath. "Great, now I gotta go deal with Spike." With a squeak of the door, Rainbow was out of the room, leaving Twilight and me alone. When I rolled my head over, I saw Twilight sitting back against the headboard of the bed. She breathed slowly and seemed just as confused. "I think every mare in this world is trying to rape me," I said in a low voice, not liking my choice of words, but having them be the only ones at my disposal. Am I wrong to think that? Because I feel like I barely got away with my life after that kiss. Twilight giggled. What's so funny?"
"Rainbow's an interesting pony for sure."
Twilight looked over at me, smiling at me. My mane was sprawled over my head and across the bed.
"She's one of the girls you have to worry the least about. Well, in terms of being a stallion, that is."
I went to chuckle, only to groan instead.
"Your head?"
I pressed a hoof against my temple, hoping to quell the throbbing pain beaten beneath my skull. "Something like that. I think it's just getting tired of being short-circuited."
Come here for a second."
I was frozen for a second. The command was polite, and her face was so pretty. But still, the words came across more like an order, and understanding that she was to have her way. Or maybe I was overthinking everything. My mind hurt whenever I started to think. So I crawled up to her, feeling her magic surround my body, felt her guide me to her lap. My head was set in between her thighs, and I sunk a bit into her softness. My cheeks rubbed against her stomach, the warmth of her body soothing my soreness.
"Let me try this."
Twilight lowered her muzzle down to my head, taking the moment to stare into my eyes, her violet ones slightly glowing. My heart pumped and my hooves shook, and with a single breath I calmed myself and trusted her.
"Close your eyes. I promise this will help."
My eyes swept shut, darkness with the orange twinge of light hovering somewhat above. Something soft touched against my forehead, staying there for only a second, until I felt the strands of my mane being brushed back. Seconds later, something warm and wet occupied my temple. A caring kiss. Then my darkness was banished by lavender. Silence replaced by incessant chatter, nothing forming into silhouettes of others. My breath was lost, but my past was found. In a flash, the pain was gone. The past has returned, and I was seeing into what I once was. A field. It was green. Tall spades of grass blowing with the breeze. 2 trees on either side of me. I was on a hill, and I wasn't alone. Laying back on my ass, there was a book between my legs, and when I looked to my left, I saw her. Her. What was her name? Why was she a part of me? Everything. She was my everything. My mind, my heart, my body, and my soul belonged to only her. She was of great importance. I loved her. And here I was, unable to remember her fucking name. And all I saw was her long hair and the glint on her wheelchair. She waved a hand at me, and when I went to do the same, I watched as her hair fell back and landed on the grass.
circling into a pile. A beauty removed. Where was I? Who was she? How was I so blind when my mind... Everything was just so clear. Hand. 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 A hand? The magic faded, and so too did my past. No! No! My eyes shot open, and at once I was staring at Twilight Sparkle. Put me back! I need to see her hand. I need to know her name. I need to... Ugh! I convulsed at once at the needle pricking my heart. Shivering as blood leaked out. Her... Anon? Darkness again. I stood into an abyss. The first thing I noticed was the way I was standing. With a gulp, I looked down, not seeing 4 legs and 4 hooves, but rather 2 legs and 2 feet. All 5 toes attached to each, the sight sending me back a few steps, and with the slip of my heel, I fallen onto my ass. My hands crashed first against the nothingness that supported me. Glancing down to my side, it was like there was an invisible glass, some ultra-thin surface that spanned across the vistas. Dark clouds tinged with purple surrounding me, but they were too blurry, or perhaps too unreal for me to focus on? Do you recognize yourself, stranger to this realm? What the fuck? At once I was on my feet, raising my fists into the air. Who are you? Where the fuck are you? Get the fuck down here! I swallowed, feeling nothing of my heart. I'm not afraid. I'll fuck your shit up. Spoken like a kid. The world rumbled from the broad, indescribable voice, just shaking the ground in tune to its every syllable. Have you not outgrown the profanity by now, young one? I couldn't help but shake my head. The fuck are you, my mother? That is something you desire to know, is it not? From the depths of the cloud floated out 2 spheres, each glowing teal, their brightness almost blinding. They set themselves along the surface of the clouds, space separating them. You stand tall without knowing your place. Bravery or stupidity? Therein lies my interest in you. I didn't hold my fists up much longer. Whatever the fuck that thing was, it didn't seem like something that could be taken out by a punch. And though its voice was dark and deep, a feminine touch was still about it. But this wasn't a place where my get-out-of-jail-free card would come in handy. What are you? I said, feeling my hands drop against my side. And where is this? Few questions are you allowed to ask. The voice shook the world once more. Ask yourself, are those the true questions you want to say? I have too many questions to ask. I lifted my right hand and let it drape across my face. My fingers clenched against my features, my palm pressing down on my nose, my fingers digging in behind my ears. Human. I was a human. I'm me again. You are yourself, in a body not your own, but in a form familiar. Bright blue flashed before me. The glow cut into the air itself, tearing a fabric open downwards, and within its aura was a reflective surface that was somehow organic. Look upon yourself and state the familiarity. I saw my reflection, yet saw nothing of me. What the fuck? My hand slipped from my face, and I blinked, even though my eyes were unseen. Stepping forward, I looked at myself closely, wondering how I was able to breathe. What is that on my face? Bringing my fingers to the green stuff that covered my face. But when I pinched at it, the surface of the greenness felt akin to skin, like it had merged itself to whatever once there before. Doing my best to ignore that fact, I looked to the center of my face, seeing a question mark there. No eyes, but the outline of my mouth, the latter which I wanted to scream out of. Anonymous. That's what you are. To both this world and yourself. The glowing spheres blinked, and at that the mirror winked out of existence. Your body is whatever lingers from your memories, of your past. Be wary, young and green, for you have lost more than you can know. Well, no fucking shit! I exclaimed, shaking my head. You're very fucking useful, Miss Great and Mysterious. Frustration overcame me, causing me to take each of my hands into each of my palms, letting my fingers dig into the surface. And I was starting to pull as hard as I could, not minding the pain, but at the same time still too weak to rip my skin off. What the fuck is this place? Currently, we are lurking within your subconscious, a level below your dreamscape. The spheres of teal narrowed. Their glow became less intense. As for my identity, know me as the Princess of the Night, the watcher of your dreams, set to observe this world's only human.
You're not some crazy chick, are you? I replied with a nervous tone. Like, no fucking me in my dreams, right?
I'm afraid that's not the kind of mare I am, Anon. The voice rumbled softly underneath my feet. My feelings for the stallions of this world, well, over 1,000 years ago, what was led to an altercation between my sister and me. The teal spheres floated slightly back into the clouds. You shall meet my sister soon. Prepare and bring good friends. I blinked. What the fuck was even going on?
And you, do you know me? What I was before all this? I shook my head, throwing a fist backwards. You! How do you know what a human is? What even changed me to begin with? How can I get back to Earth?
Return to your world? This is not your dream, Anon.
My dream?
Your wish, Anon.
Fuck off! I yelled at the eyes as they became obscured by mists and wisps of blackness. You wanna know what my wish is? To go the fuck back home! You wanna know what my second wish is? To know what the fuck is going on! So fucking tell me everything! When I wanted to yell again, something struck the back of my head, sending me to fall to my knees. Everything blurred and dizziness stole me. Bringing a hand to the back of my head, I felt something wet. And bringing it before my eyes, I saw blood mix in with my new skin. Quell the pain that lurks within your head. The answer unclogs once the blockage is gone. The voice, despite fading, still thundered with its words. Know yourself. It's a task that cannot be done alone. Acquire this knowledge and your wish will come true. What fucking wish are you going on about? Blackness again. Nothing came of me. I was floating in nothing. My mind, already fragile and confused, had burned out from the constant revelations. I'd been forced to act tough, even when I was fucking terrified, and in this moment of defeat, I just couldn't stop myself from crying. I hated myself from how weak I was underneath it all. Was it any wonder why I swore so much? This world took over my body. Even when it was given back, it wore a suit and hid under my skin under a layer of thick green. This world fucking stole me away. From the ponies to their magic and wings to enduring being a gender that was without respect or equality to having who I was, what I was, being locked deep inside of me. My memories as a human fading every moment I remained a stallion. If I did not curse this world, I would be all the other stallions. And they fucking blow.